Welcome, everyone. I'm Wake, your host for Shaman to Shaman, where we bring you interviews, shaman to shaman, healer to healer, teacher to teacher, with shamanic earth-based healers and teachers from around the world. Today, we've invited Marcela Astete to share some of her stories of a shamanic life. Marcela, welcome.
Thank you very much, Wake. Nice to be with you right now.
We hope that the work Marcela shares will resonate with you and impact your life in a meaningful way. That this shared experience will inform you about a way of being that contributes to resolving individual, family, community, and worldly concerns, and furthers the global shamanic community, the vision of Shamans Directory. And that today's discussion will inspire you to add shamanic sessions and experiences to your life, that we may build shamanic community together. Shaman to Shaman is brought to you by Shamans Directory, a dynamic online resource for earth-based shamans to share themselves, offer medicine, build community, and change the world. Today, I'm honored to welcome Marcela Astete, and I'd like to refer to your profile, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Marcela is author of The Path of the Wolf. She is a Peruvian-born global citizen whose journey from accountancy to holistic practice has shaped her into a beacon of empowerment and wisdom. Marcela's passion for human potential blossomed when she discovered NLP, NeuroLinguistic Programming, in 1993, leading her to integrate Tai Chi and Sufism in her life. In 2008, Marcela founded the Human Potential School, offering transformative workshops blending shamanism, Tai Chi, and Sufi principles after being trained by Caro shaman Nicolas Pacar Calcina. In 2020, Marcela became the representative of this school, Kausai Pacha, in the Netherlands. Marcela is an active teacher of the cosmology of the Andes, offering group lessons, workshops, short introductory courses, and intensive courses, as well as individual sessions. Her classes cater to individuals as well as to companies, fostering holistic well-being and personal growth. Marcela's mission is to inspire conscious earth stewardship by empowering individuals to manifest their desired realities. She's also a teacher of Tai Chi. I've noticed that, Marcela. I love your website, and it has quite a nice reference to Tai Chi. And you've had a deep journey to get to where you are. I wonder if you could begin telling us about your journey in and into shamanism.
Yes, it's been fulfilling a circle for me because, as you know, I was um, educated in the Western culture, and I never knew anything about the indigenous people of Peru, only like a picturesque scenery of something like that. Nobody gave much importance to the people or to the archaeology or to the sites. And it was just in the 1950s that scientists started to become curious about them, and only in 1970s that they were for the first time acknowledged as citizens. Before that, they didn't exist legally. So that was how the situation was when I was growing up in Peru. So because of that, the situation was never settled in Peru, and that brought me to be curious about the rest of the world. And I started traveling very young, when I was 24 years old, participating in an international student association. And that got me to many places, and that's where I found neurolinguistic programming and Tai Chi and Sufism. Tai Chi and Sufism were the beginning of my connection with my spirituality, because as a Catholic born and never really quite found spirituality there. So I was, my parents were not practicants or fanatics. So to me, that was very vague. And so I put myself fully into Tai Chi and Sufism that I found with the same person. That's why I follow both at the same time, because there was one person who was both of them. And that was what kept me balanced in my life, because I moved a lot. I lived in 5 countries. And after practicing about 20 years of that, in 2015, I was in a Sufi retreat. And the celebration of honoring all religions with a universal Sufism, where all the sacred books are in one table and one candle is light for each of them. I wonder, why are not the philosophies or religions of America recognized as well? Because there were only the West and the East, but nothing from the South or North America even. So he said to me, Pircia Inayat Khan, who is the Sufi order head, says, well, I don't know much about it because he's specialized in the Eastern religions. So why don't you find out? And that was a trigger, because I was curious my whole life, but I never had the chance to come close to it. So I said, yes, of course. So I dive into YouTube and Google and found out Nicolas that way in a video. And when we started talking, he comes from the same place I was born. So the Quero community, the Quero nation actually, uh, belonged to the lands of my forefathers. They were the land owners of where they belong. Imagine that. So to me was like going away from there and coming back from completely different eyes to look at, because I was already fed with Sufism and Tai Chi, and looking at the same thing with the spiritual consciousness was like seeing back a treasure that I left behind. And the first retreat I found was in 2016 for 13 days with Nicolas, and it was a life changer for me. And especially because it was coming back to my own roots. Because my last name is Spanish, but I'm actually 50-50, a mix of all bloods. But 50% at least is native, and the rest is the rest of Europe and even Africa, some at some point. And I started, and it was like swimming like a fish in the in the water. I felt totally at home, and I started practicing in myself. And that's how Nicolas teaches it, because you have to know yourself first, to heal yourself first, and to give you the empowerment and the leadership to lead your life the way you really choose for, and not influenced by the what is outside of you. So I like that vision a lot, and also I felt a correlationship with Sufism and Tai Chi, because actually they all follow the same principles. Be your own person, and relate to the world in harmony, which is basically that. And so it just made it stronger to choose for it and offer myself to teach it in the Netherlands, because he only teaches in Spanish and to all Spanish speakers all over the world. And I offered to teach it in Dutch, and I translated his videos. And I have small groups that are beginning to follow my classes, but I see very important changes in their lives as well, and that keeps me very enthusiastic about it. And at the beginning, I was even, I said it carefully that I was working with shamanism because what are you doing? That weird blick. But now I said it with assertive and not ashamed of it, and on top of it, they said very proud of it, actually. I just came back from Peru from a very beautiful experience of 2 weeks in Cusco and the Puno and Titicaca Lake with lots of rituals, and it was like so heart feeling. So that's about my journey in a shell. That
Well, I really appreciate you sharing how you got to where you are, Marcela, and what a beautiful combining of different spiritual paths. I'm especially struck by the fact that you rediscovered a heritage that is so rich and
yeah.
is becoming all the more popular throughout the world. And yet, when you were a youngster, they were the Caro, for instance, were hardly recognized.
No, they were known by my family because they had some relationship with them because they had to give some tribute for living there. But they had a very different relationship than with other natives because they were never subdued. They were never oppressed because they lived so high in the mountains that they said, we give you potatoes and you will let me be free up there. And so they came and they had tea or coffee and they left the potatoes and they had a very equal relationship. So that's what I feel the difference of the Keto Nation and other nations, that they are not submissive or feel under or less than other people. They are very proud of who they are and they don't feel better than anyone else either. So we are all brothers and sisters when you come visit them. It's like a family. So it's beautiful.
I know you speak of your recent visit to Lake Titicaca. Have you been up then to visit the Carol Lands?
Last year, I walked 60 kilometers, mountains up and down until I reached the Quero Marcachea. That's where Nicolas is from. And we spent nights there with the people and the kids and the little school. It's gorgeous. It's one of the fewest communities that is kept exactly as it was 500 years ago, because other communities are being reached by car and they are building houses of bricks with solar panels and hot water. But at the same time, you see how garbage is coming also in, plastic and all that. But Quero Marcachea is a lot farther, deeper into the mountains, and hardly anybody reaches there. And that's pristine. We couldn't even drink water from the ground. They said no problem.
And a final question about this aspect of your work is, how did you feel personally going to the ancestral lands who, your family has had association with through
Yeah.
quite a bit of time? That's an unusual relationship that you have.
Very unusual, and even more unusual because my great grandparents were the owners, and but my father worked in the agricultural reform that returned land to the natives. So we lost all our. Uh, I had no heritage in that, in materially, I would say. So we were in both sides. And and with Nicolas, when I found him, we say we realized this unusual relationship indeed, but we realized the good things and the bad things of both sides because the agricultural reform was very positive in many senses because it was a huge injustice. Just the fact that they were even recognized as citizens was horrible. But at the same time, the productive haciendas lost their productivity because they didn't know how to manage the big lands anymore after so many years, hundreds of years. So that has to be retaken somehow. That is more like a better relationship and not like antagonist relationships, like you are the oppressor and I'm the victim. And that is what I love the most about the Keto Nation. They don't feel themselves as victims. They are they take whatever it comes and they make the best of it in any sense. And I heard in this trip, I learned about, for example, that in the time of the colony, that the colony stripped them with everything from their culture, even their clothing and everything, and I forced them to dress like Spanish and stuff. So there were textile factories, and all the leftovers of the threads of wool, different colors, whatever, they brought them to these people and they say, okay, I give you this with broken mirrors and stuff like that. I give you this and give me 100 llamas. And they couldn't say no, of course. So they do the exchange. But then that is what they have made with that is all the colorful clothes that they wear now. So you see all kind of colors. So they classified all the little pieces and they made with it art. So that's not feeling better. That's even doing something much nicer and appreciated right now. So to me, that's a huge lesson. And I visit Lake Titicaca, for example, and I heard that the mine, silver mine, Potosí in Bolivia, the biggest silver mine in the world, in that time they were hunting natives to work in the mines, and they hide between the totora, the plant that grows in the lake, and they had to hide for many decades. And because of that is that they made their man-made island, islands where they could live and even have agriculture there. It's amazing. So the resilience of these people is unbelievable, and so they have a very good concept of who is rich. Who is rich is not how much you have, is to have what you want, when you want, whenever you want, the way exactly as you want. That is being rich. And
Those are striking stories, Marcela. I really appreciate you sharing your personal experience. And one more question in that vein before we get more to your practice and how you might
Mhm.
be in service to clients. Is there some kind of generational imperative or generational signature from your grandparents to your parents through you? Do you feel a calling in that regard? Do you perceive your work at all as coming through your family and being the next generational step?
I think so. I feel that there has been generationally a lot of a struggle between generations, and uh, and I feel the calling of feeling the complementary of both views, the opposite views, and how they can help each other to evolve and not go from one extreme to the other extreme and not really growing, but repeating the same stories over and over again. So for me, getting into elevate my consciousness was exactly that. I don't want to pass that into my children. And I see the world in that polarity that doesn't solve anything and is destroying everything. And that's why we need to see things from another perspective where we can use whatever there is, like these people is they never see anything negative. Everything has a reason, everything has a purpose, and everything can be used for something. So if you find the utility of every experience, of every situation where you find, then you're always strong and you're always growing and going forward and not being attached to what used to be of what could have been, which is usually our sickness in the Western world.
Let's move on then to how you're in service to your clients. I notice you have Tai Chi offerings. You just have mentioned your Peruvian visits. You have and sponsor classes. How may people best engage with you?
Well, it's anybody who wants to find themselves in the most authentic way. And to me, the combination of Tai Chi and Sufism and the cosmology of the Andes is exactly that, is authenticity. And you start in Tai Chi, I help them to find their own inner strength without using brute force, because brute force is generated from fear. You're afraid, you don't trust, you have to use force to dominate the other one. But when you relax, you can connect better and you can understand the other better so that you don't have to be afraid. And when you know, they say feeling is knowing, thinking is not knowing. And when you feel, then you can connect and you can create a better situation for both instead of protecting yourself and attacking the other one. That's what I love about Tai Chi. And it's a concrete instrument, because what you do with your body is a reflection of your own emotions. So when you learn to what is relaxing, and relaxing is not a static situation, it's a constant flow. So it's constantly wishing to relax. And that makes a huge difference in how you perform the Tai Chi form, or how you engage in the pushing hands or Tai Chi boxing. It's very different, it's very gentle. And Sufism taught me to which God are you praying to? And actually, everybody has their own God. There is not one God for everybody. So it's your own ideal. What is the ideal that you admire the most, that inspires you the most? And that's what you cultivate in yourself. So you want to become closer to that ideal. So you don't have to follow this or that religion. It can be your own. And you don't have to preach on others, because everybody has a different one. And with the cosmology of the Andes, is so integral that touches everything, touches the physical body, touches the emotional body, touches the ideas that we and our convictions about things or points of view, touches our spirituality, and opens your mind to communicate with everything. And that's what we don't have, because we think that it's illogical to talk to the air, to nobody there. But when shamans do that, they are truly talking to someone specific for a purpose. And that has an effect in your energy field, in your emotional state, in your consciousness state, that if you have an ally in a spiritual being, and you have a good connection, friendship even with that being, then you focus better in your goals and you can achieve whatever you want. So you are not alone, and the whole of nature is there for you. So and especially that familiarity, that everything is family, absolutely everything and everybody. So then you live in a sacred place consciously, because everything is sacred and you are sacred, and that changes your how you conceive yourself. It's a that is a totally change of mindset about yourself. And then you are not in a hurry to achieve oh, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be in the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension, and I have to work hard to get a diploma somewhere. No, you just have to be you. And but understanding you takes attention, takes time, takes patience, and yeah, and that's the courses that I offer are like that. It says it's 1 year and a half, and we build little by little the 7 codes of the Andes, which is the what Nicolas has very carefully collected from every family that he has visited around in the Quero Nation, because of the restriction of practicing their spirituality. Every family has a specialty. So one of the codes is their specialty. So they are very strong practicing that. And he has learned from all of them, and he has found 7 codes. And those are instrumental to develop um, qualities or capacities to engage in how you relate with the world, and how do you put those into action in order to achieve whatever you want as a result. So it's a guiding map.
So you not only represent Nicholas, you teach his work or your manifestation of what makes sense to you of his work. Does he visit the Netherlands with you?
Yes, he visited the Netherlands. He's been last March in the Netherlands for 10 days. So we had a retreat of 10 days, and we do healing circles for young people. We do um, for small startups of entrepreneurs, how to manifest better with their own business. So he has tools for anything you want to go. And when we go on a trip to Peru, then we visit the sites, and every site is a symbol. And in every symbol, there is a concept, a quality to incorporate. So when you're there, it's like impossible not to do it, because the whole place is calling you for that. And it was amazing. We were 6 this time that we went to Peru, and I think they all came totally fulfilled.
Well, what a beautiful path you've chosen and a strong relationship with your teacher. And it sounds like he is really continuing to show you the beauty of the Andes and ways that this beauty can impact your life.
Yes, especially because he says the world doesn't need more policemen or more soldiers. The world needs more wise people. And that's his mission, and with his school is to bring more wise people into the world. And wisdom is um, got by working hard in oneself, and and experiencing whatever, because shamanism is about practice. Without practice is nothing, because you can read all the books in the world and not change a bit the way you live. But when you experience, that knowing internally is what changes your life. And I think that that's what made a big change in me. And Sufism is also practice, and Tai Chi is also practice. So it goes so well together. And so for me, it was very strong. Yes, this is it.
I want to go back to Tai Chi just for a minute. And do you offer distance sessions for body work?
Uh, I did it for a while in the Corona time, but it's possible. Definitely, it's possible. But here, the people want to do it personally, much better. But it could be done for sure.
Well, let's take a broader look. If someone wants to get to know you and your work more, is there a possibility for an individual session to see how they might be impacted by you and what you offer?
Absolutely.
What kind of person would benefit from speaking to you in this way?
Um, Anybody who has questions um, about their life, about spirituality, about um, yeah, people who is stressed and don't know how to relax, for example. But any issue or things that happen to you that you don't understand, and I can help this person to find the reason for it so they can put in a good place and heal about it is and go forward with their lives. I had a visit of somebody who came because she was in a not so good relationship with her husband, for example. And we talked about that for 1 hour. And she said, I've been working with this for the last 7 years and you solve it in 1 hour. So the way that is how the codes work, because you see the person in multiple dimensions at the same time, past, future, what is going on right now is totally related with everything else. So when you know how to map the words they are using and the emotions they are expressing, there are tools to work with that, and you go to the root of the problem. And when you take it out, it's like, oh, that was that. So and that's it. There is nothing else to do. You found the rotten fish in the closet. So you just take it out.
Well, I noticed, Marcela, in your website that you have a reference to coaching. I wonder if you could express what that kind of relationship with you might look like.
Yeah, um, that is a good question because I with Tai Chi I have people that comes to the classes for many years, more than 10 years, 12 years, and we talk while we are practicing, and people we become like a family. So then there is an obvious coaching, but not like an official coaching. But since I began with the cosmology of the Andes, it's like 2, 3 sessions and that's it. They don't need anything else. And the other one is to follow the course of the module one, that is 1.5 years, and that then is real coaching. So they watch videos from Nicolas that are translated in Dutch, but I want to do it also in English for people who don't speak Dutch in Europe. And so they see the videos, but I talk about the video to point them what is important in the video so that they get the framework, but then it's themselves. They have to put their own life issues on the table to work with it. And then is when I intervene and coach them to how to approach it. Because there is a lot of resistance, a lot of fear, a lot of anger, and then I coach them to put them in a position when they can objectively see and discern what is that they want to do with that. And the beauty is that they give the answers. I just point them, hey, look at this, look at that. They say, oh, okay. And then we create a ritual together, how to address it, and then declare it as cured. You no longer have to do with that.
I think you would be both comforting and inspirational to work with. That's my initial impression, and I'm so intrigued by this balance of Sufism and body work through Tai Chi and other ways of relaxation and expression, and then the Karo cosmology. It feels like a very fertile mix there that you bring to every session.
Very, very much. It is so much so that when I'm teaching Tai Chi, sometimes I put Sufism in there or shamanism in there because you have to be connected, you have to expand to connect with everything around you. You have to be aware of different levels of consciousness at the same time. Feel your body, quiet your mind, and be aware of what is around you or how do you connect with other people. So it's very funny. It's a or qigong, for example, that you connect with the three levels, your three treasures, your mind, your heart, and your belly, and that's looks like a ritual that you would do to integrate the sun in you and put it in your heart and feel the energy through your body. So it's energy work, actually. In Sufism, you do meditations where you use your body also to move, and you feel the emotion of the word that you're invoking. So it's like using your words, using your emotion and your intention with an action. And that's where the power is. And they all use the same because Tai Chi is intention in the movement, but completely relaxed so that you are connected with everything. So in the end, is um, feeling your center, but at the same time being connected to everybody and to everything. And that's what creates coherence because you're always moving according to everything else, but you're also motivating and everything is moving around you as well. So it's beautiful. Go to the whole and to the one, to the individuality and the collective, in and out, in and out, in and out, so that you have a good communication because that's our lack. We don't have good communication skills. And I think that was a good beginning with neurolinguistic programming because then communication is perfectly addressed there.
Well, in terms of connecting with you, Marcela, I understand there's journeys to Peru on occasion, and there's this year and a half program. Are there
Mhm.
other opportunities for a distant a student not in the Netherlands, to work with you?
Um, well, the lessons of this course is online, this via Zoom. So if I would be ready to offer the same course in English, for example, because that is a very beautiful relationship, learning the codes and at the same time learning ourselves and growing with that. And to me, that has been the most fulfilling experience I have had teaching something. Teaching Tai Chi is beautiful, but it's you don't see the progress so fast. But with the seven codes, is boof, amazing. It's after 1 year and a half, we want more.
When I look at your website, which I find very beautiful, even though most of it is in Dutch, I could still get a sense of what you're offering there. And one of the English quotes that you put in is, "To find potential within choice is mastery." What does that mean?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That was when I started Human Potential. I was coming out of a very dark night of the soul, I think, because when you um, when you are stuck in a problem and you don't see a way out, and you want to run away, you want to distract yourself with whatever or anything. And that's one of the reasons why people find spirituality. And sometimes spirituality is not in the right way to approach because it's an escape to their actual reality. And I was in between that. So, oh, you see God, spirituality, meditation, beautiful, everything. So that is the full potential, actually, of everybody's soul. But what happened when you choose something? Then you're choosing your own jail, basically. And when you choose your own jail, you can make it a jail or you can make it a heaven. So, and that's when my Tai Chi teacher told me once when I was in that period, he said, "Don't let your frustrations blind you." He just said that. And I said, wow. It was like a clap in my face. He said, am I doing that? Because I was fanatic training and everything, but not really relaxing. I was a completely different mind state. And I started to pay attention to that. What are my frustrations? What I want to run away from? And I started addressing them one by one, little by little, with the as like Tai Chi, slowly, not rushing to want to fix everything in one go. And And I started finding beauty. The more I cleaned up my own insecurities, my own um, anger and stuff like that, the more oh, hey, if I can be good to other people teaching Tai Chi or counseling them, because that was natural in me, why cannot do this in my own place with my own family? And that was where the quote came from. It's a mastery is when you choose and you find the potential within the choice, because then you have to be creative within those four walls. And that's your own family.
I like that.
Yeah.
So there's no real jail. This is a get out of jail card.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not a jail when you don't see it like that. Many people find like committing to something is a jail. I want freedom. Yeah. What do you do with your freedom? That's the thing. But when you choose, you have a purpose. You have something concrete that you can put your attention to and create beautiful things with. And that is completely different mindset. So everything depends how are you looking at things. And in the cosmology of the Andes, the more points of view you have, the richer is your perception of things. And I've been lucky to live in 5 countries, to speak 4 languages almost, and to being so deep into these 3 fields of inspiration to me that I can, yeah, I can. There is hardly anything that I don't understand.
Wow. Okay. Understand
Don't,
this
don't,
then.
don't bring me into physics or chemistry or things like that. But even that, I just see when there is a description of physical phenomena or things, I totally relate it to spirituality or to biology or how the body works or emotions. So it's like everything is connected. So, and I'm curious enough to learn from anything. So I'm not close-minded anymore.
You give me great confidence, Marcela, in your abilities. All right. Here's my final quote from your website that I wanted to refer to, if I might.
Okay.
Become your own master and unlock the power to create your own reality. Is it possible to become our own masters?
100%. Because what stops you from being your own master?
I hope that's a rhetorical question.
No, it's a real question. Because we think it's difficult, but it's just a decision. When we are adults, we decide what to eat, where to sleep, where to go, is we can make decisions. That's the proof. So if you want to be your own master, what does it mean? That you have to understand how you're feeling, what are you thinking, why did you decide to go there and not there? And when you understand all that, you walk with confidence and you know what you're gonna get as a result. But when you just act impulsively, or because somebody told you, or because everybody's going there, so I go there and you don't even know why, then is when you are not a master of yourself. And that's what we learn through this course. Like, look at yourself, listen to yourself, feel how are you feeling right now? What do you want? Many people don't even know what they want. They are angry, but they don't know what they want. So that is not so difficult. It's just you need a setting where this can be done because it's not offered anywhere. You go to school, you've been taught what to do. You go to your parents, they tell you what to do. But who makes you look at yourself really in concrete terms, not in metaphysical terms?
Marcela, sometimes I think my dog is my master. I,
Totally.
I may need
Totally.
your help.
No, my dog was a big master for me too. Because if you are your master of yourself, you see a master in everybody and in everything. Because you're willing to learn. Is my dog taught me a lot of things. Being in the here and now, that's the best one.
He's napping right now, so you're very relaxing to him. Before we go, then let's touch on your book, the Path of the Wolf. Could you tell us a
Mhm.
bit about your book?
Yeah, that was part of the challenges that we had to take in the learning with Nicholas. Because when you are able to tell your story, you are valuing your story, and you are giving, and that is giving you back confidence and security. And I didn't believe it at the beginning. I said, how am I going to write a book? But when I started, uh, things began to flow about what is my background, and all exactly about this mix of things. And the other thing is that Pircia Inayatkan, who asked me to find out about the cosmology of the Andes, he told me, go find about that and tell me what is all that. So then that's why I wrote it in English, to tell him actually. And it was in a Sufi retreat as well that I saw, we had to a silent meditation time, about like a half a day sitting alone in a room, and I was bored like hell. And finally I could settle, and I started really meditating, and I had a vision, a really clear vision. And there were three sides. And the first one was a black wolf, really desperate, looking for, searching for food. I don't know what, like, he said, like that. And the other one was a gray wolf that was more calm, but still walking through the woods. And the last one was a white wolf, and he was sitting royally at the feet of, I thought, Jesus, because I'm very good friend of Jesus. And and it was just peaceful, and I had no clue what that meant. And I told one of my Sufi guides, he said, I have this vision, but I don't know how to interpret that. I said, I think it's a map of your life, he said. And I left it there. But I was indeed in a very difficult time in my life. And finally, I came to the Netherlands, and then I settled down, and I was more calm. I knew what to do. I started growing my own activities, my own business. And then the more I went into Tai Chi and Sufism, and then even the cosmology of the Andes, is now I found my peace. So this, and I was writing the book, and they say, "Hey, I'm getting closer to the white wolf, I think." So, so that was I couldn't think of any other name than the path of the wolf, because I think the wolf has guided me to just trust that I'm gonna get to where I'm supposed to get some point.
Sounds like you're well on your way, Marcela.
Mm.
Let me ask you before it's time for us to release each other, is that I want to thank you on behalf of Shamans Directory for being a member of this organization you're an epitome of. A practitioner, a student, a teacher, a facilitator, a guide, um, coming together, holding a sacred fire, getting to know one another and strengthening the whole. Is there anything that you could reflect to us about the value of Shaman's Directory to you?
Anything we can do about bringing um, this wisdom into the world, I think is gold. pure gold because the world needs it. And in my book, I have a page saying this, we need to bring back the balance because we've been in the exchange of East and West. And that has been the culture of the last 2000 years, but we have forgotten North and South, and that is shamanism. And only when we have the four directions is that we're going to find balance. So I think your effort is beautiful, and I'm very grateful for this interview. And you were really fantastic guiding it and bringing me to things that I would love to share with everybody. So thank you very much for that. And I think that you keep on finding people like me and to keep inspiring more people around the world to to see shamanism not as a weird thing of a occult thing or anything, but really to bring back light into many people's lives.
Thank you so much, Marcela. It's really a joy to meet you and to feel stronger knowing that you are part of the sacred spiritual community, holding one fire, bringing your
Yes.
medicine as your gift. Any final words?
Well, that I wish everybody to find their own path, whatever it is, because that's very important, and to value absolutely every experience they had in their whole lives, never regret anything. And because if we are still here, it's because we made it. And if we don't value what was brought us here to become who we are, then we can know we also cannot go forward, and we need to go forward.
Thank you, Marcela. Um, to all those watching, thank you for joining us for our Shaman to Shaman interview. This is a way we get to know one another. And we thank you, Marcela, once again for sharing your experiences, your vision, your authenticity, your relaxed nature, the way you are a gentle guide. I can certainly feel that within you. If you would like to learn more about our featured Shamans Directory member, Marcela Astete, please visit us at shamansdirectory.com and look for Marcela's profile. We also have reference to her website, which we'll put at the bottom of the screen. And you can also learn more about many other exciting healers and teachers in the directory. Thank you for watching and for being inspired by our members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wake, and thank you very much, everybody, for listening.